My name is Caroline Pearce. I was born in 1959 in Dumbarton in Scotland.
Okay, so what's your first memory as a child in Scotland?
I don't actually have any memories initially of being in Scotland. I left Scotland when I was about 11 months old.
Okay.
My father, he worked on the oil rigs and he travelled all over the world, and he was contracted to do some work in America. So we moved to America.
Okay.
We went to Lake Zurich, which is on the outskirts of Chicago, and we stayed there. Well, we came back in 1963.
So do you have any memories of America?
I do very much so. I think probably because it was so different, the climate obviously was very, very different. Most of my memories are of the winter, of the severe cold and snow and sleet. I can remember the snow being so deep I wasn't allowed to leave the house because it was actually above head height.
Oh.
And my sister and I having to dress up in snowsuits when we left the house. Opposite where we lived was a great big lake, which obviously in winter used to ice over, and it would be full of people skating.
Oh, wow.
A bit like the scene off of Love Story, actually. Yeah. Which was really nice. The summer memories were more of barbecues. America's very big on barbecues. Very big on everything out there, actually. Our car was huge. The car that my dad had was called a Rambler, which was massive. And when we did come back to England, actually, I can remember we had a house built in England, and my dad had a double garage built, and the car still didn't fit in the garage.
Oh.
So it was huge, but of course you don't realise that at the time. It's, you know, it was normal over there for everyone to drive around in these massive, great big cars.
Okay, so and then did you stay then in England when you were 4? Whereabouts?
Well, we left America in 1963, as I said, and my memories, I can remember the journey from America to England.
Okay.
Because we travelled back on the Queen Mary, which at the time was a very famous ship, which my dad had done some welding on, actually. And so I still have memories of going to what I suppose would be called like the kids club on the ship. I can't remember exactly how long the journey took, but it was quite a long time, a couple of weeks on this ship. I can remember my mum being violently sick the entire time.
From seasickness?
Seasick, yeah, she was very, very ill. And she used to spend most of the day in the cabin. However, in the evening, my mum loved bingo. My mum would get up and managed to make it to the bingo session in the evening. And my mum was always very lucky when it came to bingo, or lucky with anything like that, spot the ball, all those sort of things. My mum seemed to always have some sort of winnings going on. I've heard this story many times, every night my mum won something at bingo.
Wow.
And a lot of them were the sort of, you know, quite a wealthy sort of stash. So everybody on the ship, whenever they saw my mum, would sort of say, "Oh, you won again," and they'd rub her shoulder for luck. And on the last night there was like a rollover, and it was a big jackpot, and my mum won that as well.
Wow.
And according to my dad, it paid a significant it contributed a significant amount towards our thinking about America. She won that much money.
Oh wow!
Because there was lots of other things going on, but she seemed to just pick up everything going. So I remember that. I can remember when we got off the ship and we were going through customs and that. There were obviously sort of some police and milling around, and one of the first things that my dad can remember me saying is, "Gee, Pop, look at them cops, they got no guns." And apparently, that was the very reason we came back from America, because there was quite a lot of violence going on, and my dad didn't want to bring his family up over there. So that was one of the reasons we came back. I can also remember we hadn't, I can't remember exactly what month it was we came back in 1963, but I think it was the early part of the year, because shortly after that I can remember my mum and dad being extremely upset after listening to the news, and it was the announcement that President Kennedy had been assassinated. President Kennedy was our president whilst we were living in America, so obviously it meant a lot to my parents. They were very, very upset, and that left it made a big sort of impact on them. So yeah, so we came back and we moved to the Midlands. Not quite sure why we went to the Midlands, but we went into rented accommodation for a while. My dad had a house built for us, so that took quite a long time. So we lived in a tenement block, actually, a flat in King's Heath in Birmingham. And I did. So,
just wait for it when breakfast is done.
I'm sure I put that on silent. I was thinking, in fact, do you know what it was? It was on silent. I pressed it and I put it back.
Yeah.
Is it still going? Oh God. Right, sorry, where was I?
Okay, so you lived in King's Heath?
Yes, we moved to King's Heath in Birmingham, and we lived in a tower block there, which I found very strange. So we had no garden or anything like that. And we lived there probably the best part of the year, while my parents had a house built in Webheath and Redditch in the Midlands. And we lived there for about 5 years. Then we moved again to a place called Rowney Green. Again, that was in the Midlands, the other side of Redditch. Then we moved to Swindon.
Okay, so you were moving around quite a lot then. What was school like for you?
I went to many different schools actually. I always seemed to be sort of packing up and going to another school. I think it certainly made me the person I am today. I sort of just accepted the moving around really, and being the new girl. I can remember when I moved to Swindon.